devotees. Yesterday, we discussed from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, setting the scene. We discussed a little background about Mahabharata, how this battle was arranged, and also we discussed about the preface, Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission in his preface to Bhagavad Gita as it is. We also studied what is the right mood to study Srimad Bhagavad Gita, what is the right approach, how we should be cautious about not studying the adulterated versions of Bhagavad Gita. Today, we are going to enter into the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Before that, I'll just give a little more detail from the introduction. So we are not going to the details of introduction, but just a couple of points. You will be astonished to know that this particular introduction to Bhagavad Gita is actually a lecture of Srila Prabhupada. It so happened that Srila Prabhupada prepared for a lecture and nobody turned up, nobody came. So Prabhupada recorded that lecture. And that became the introduction to Bhagavad Gita. So there Srila Prabhupada systematically describes what is the difference between matter and spirit. What is the difference between a conditioned living entity and a liberated living entity. He also tells about difference between soul and super soul and their relation. As we know, this great Bhagavad Gita is coming through disciplic succession. Yesterday, we also discussed how it is so important to learn from a bona fide source. Anybody remembers 3 ways of gaining knowledge? We discussed some praman, 3 ways of gaining knowledge. Anyone? Any devotee?
By seeing.
Yes, first one was by seeing. Pratyaksha praman. Seeing is believing. What is second one?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. It's Anuman Parman.
Yeah, you can raise hands. Yes, Vidur Prabhu.
Anuman Praman, that is, you guess. You guess
Yes.
by just guessing.
So the second one is Anuman Praman, the guesswork. Maybe it is like that, or perhaps something else. Guesswork. Like when we were studying this Darwin's theory of evolution, it's something like Anuman Praman. He tells that one time one polar bear was in a very cold region, and that polar bear fell into a river body, in water body. And then to survive, that polar bear had developed gills and he became blue whale. So blue whale became from polar bear. So that is his Anuman. Another theory he gives, like there are deers in the forest and deers eat plants and grass. So in some region, they ate all grass and all plants. Everything finished. Now only tall trees were remaining. So what they did, they tried to eat the leaves on the trees. So they were stretching their necks. So some of them succeeded to stretch their necks and eat leaves on the tree. They became giraffe, and others died. Survival of the fittest. So this is the fittest, perfect example for Anuman Praman, guesswork. It's so foolish, no intelligent person will believe on this theory. Anyway, third way of knowing knowledge, yes, Nishtha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Shabda Praman.
Shabda Praman, yes. This is the best way of knowing knowledge, through Shabda. And that Shabda or knowledge should also come in Parampara. So this Bhagavad Gita also comes in a perfect parampara. This parampara starts from the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Because if we get knowledge from anybody in the material world, they will be having 4 defects. We will discuss about 4 defects in detail, but just as you all know already, we have imperfect senses. This is the first defect. And because we have imperfect senses, we become illusioned. There is tendency to become illusioned. And when we become illusioned, what we do? We commit mistakes. And when we commit mistakes, what is the general tendency? To cheat, to hide it, to cheat, cheating propensity. So these are the 4 defects of a conditioned soul. Imperfect senses, tendency to be illusioned, tendency to commit mistakes, tendency to cheat. So when we get knowledge from anybody like that, their presentation will be faulty. So we have to get knowledge from someone who is free from these 4 defects, and that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is coming directly from Lord Krishna. Lord Shri Krishna gave this knowledge first to Vivaswan. Who is Vivaswan? Vivaswan is the sun god. And then he gave to his son Manu. And Manu gave to his son Ikshvaku. And then like that, this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita was coming from disciplic succession. In the same way, this knowledge is also given to Arjuna. Actually, what happens is, when in the previous days, people were Raj Rishis. Who were Raj Rishis? They were externally Rishis, they were externally kings, but internally Rishis. They were sages in the spirit. Externally, they were doing all management, all politics, all fighting and different things. But internally in their consciousness, they were Rishis, they were sages. So these Raj Rishis got this knowledge. And Krishna gave this knowledge to his dear friend Arjuna. As we discussed yesterday also, when he was a devotee of Krishna, he was friend of Krishna. So there are many people who want to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there are many theories. Like first theory is monkey and monkey baby theory. What is monkey and monkey baby theory? You have seen monkey and monkey carrying the babies? How they carry the baby? You seen that? How mother monkey carries their children?
Yes.
Huh?
Like the baby holding
Yes,
holding
exactly.
the mother. Yeah.
The mother never carries. Baby holds to the mother. So Gyanis are like that. Gyanis are trying to realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead on their own, with their own speculation. So like the baby is holding on to the mother. Mother has no responsibility. Mother will jump from here and there, and if there is little mistake on the baby's part, if his hand slip, then baby will fall. This is monkey and monkey baby theory. Second is cat and kitten theory. Cat and kitten theory. How cat carries their children? They hold their children in the mouth and they carry. So this is compared to so-called spiritual gurus who tell their followers, you don't need to follow any regulatory principles. You don't need to chant any mantra. You don't need to leave your bad habits. Just come to our ashram, give us some donation, put our photo in your home. That's it. You are enough spiritual. That is cat and kitten theory. They think that their guru will deliver them even if they will have bad habits. They don't need to make any endeavor. So one is Gyanis and Yogis who are doing so hard work. Yogi is also another category. They do hard austerities, great austerities to see Paramatma in the heart. But these Gyanis and Yogis are like monkey baby. It all depends on their endeavor. Little mistake on their part, bas, everything finished. But another is cat and kitten theory, where they think that, oh, our guru will do everything. We don't need to do anything. These type of rascals are materialistic people. But what is Vaishnava philosophy? What is Vaishnava principle? It is hold and pull theory. You see, hold and pull. When you fall in a ditch, somebody gives you a hand. You have to hold that hand, and then that person can pull you up. Hold and pull. So there is endeavor on both sides. Devotee of Lord give their heart and soul to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Supreme Personality of Godhead, they take whole responsibility of the devotees. This is a relationship. Just like if there is a prostitute on the street, and if some person misbehaves with the prostitute, who will come to help her? But if there is a chaste lady on the street, somebody's wife, if somebody misbehaves with her, whole society will come. That is the difference. There's no relationship with the Supreme Lord is like prostitute. Sometimes we're going through our senses, sometimes our mind, sometimes tongue is taking us to some direction. With so many people we have given heart to. It's like prostitute. But devotees of Lord, they're like chaste wife. They're only loyal to their husband, that is Sri Krishna. And therefore Krishna takes their whole responsibility. Now stretching this analogy a little further, just like husband reveals all his secrets to his wife, he may have a hard day. In night time, he will tell his wife, you know, I went to the office today and that person is envious of me and this person is very good to me. And, you know, I did this investment and I got this many returns. I don't know what happens today's world. You know, revealing secrets are very risky today world, even to the wife. But at least a good relationship between husband and wife is like that. Husband comes back home, shares all his secrets to the wife. In the same way, Krishna, who is the Purusha, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami, is the Supreme Purusha. And we all are Prakriti, we are like ladies. So if we get married to Krishna, or in simpler words, if you become devotee of Krishna, Krishna reveals his secrets to us. And that is the scriptures. How we marry Krishna, how we establish relationship with Krishna, there are 5 ways. Prabhupada discussed this in the introduction. There is one passive way and there are 4 active ways. 5 kind of relationships with the Supreme Lord. One passive. Passive means there is no activity. There is no expression of love through service. There is love, but there is no practical service. That is Shantaras. Shantaras means just passively enjoying the company of the Lord, enjoying the association of the Lord. Like imagine a stone in the spiritual world. Yesterday we were talking about bhindi sabji. You remember? Bhindi sabji and the fire. Everything in the spiritual world is living, is conscious. So stones are also conscious. So imagine a stone in Vrindavan. He is witnessing all pastimes of the Supreme Lord, but no active role to perform as such. Krishna may utilize, like Krishna may pick up a stone and play with it. That is different thing. But on the devotee's part, there is not much to do. That is passive state, Shantaras. Then there are 4 active states. Lowest one is Dasiras, serving Lord as his servant. There are many servants of Lord in Vrindavan, There are particular servants who hold flute of Krishna. There are some servants who make Krishna's bed. In the house of Nanda Baba and Mother Yashoda, there are 4 kinds of servants. Some take care of the household activities, some take care of the cooking, some take care of the Goshala, and some take care of the personal needs of Nanda and Yashoda. So there are so many servants. They serve Krishna in Dasiras, and in the material world we see that in form of many devotees like Hanuman. Hanuman served Lord Ramchandra in the relationship of a servant. Then above that is relationship as a friend. Now it becomes more intimate. Friend is also a servant to the Lord. He serves Lord, but he also acts like a friend. Like Krishna may joke with him. He may joke with Krishna. Sometimes friends of Krishna may climb on the shoulder of Krishna. Can we imagine Hanumanji climbing on the shoulder of Lord Ramchandra? Cannot happen. But Krishna's friends, they climb on the shoulder of Krishna. More intimate. Then above that is Vatsalya, parental. It goes more deep. Now friends may joke with Krishna, friends may fight with Krishna, and Krishna may retaliate also, he may also fight back. But with Nanda and Yashoda, Krishna can't retaliate. Mother Yashoda catches Krishna and binds Krishna to wood and mortar. Who can do that to the Supreme Lord? Everybody is bound with the illusory energy of the Lord. And here Mother Yashoda is binding Krishna with the ropes of love. Higher. And the best and highest reciprocation of service is through conjugal love, Madhurya Ras. This relationship is between Krishna and the gopis. Gopis are everything to Krishna. They serve Krishna like servant. They are always available to Krishna like a friend. They take care of Krishna like parents. And they give highest pleasure to Krishna, being their beloved conjugal lovers. So like that, these are the 5 main rasas with which Krishna establishes relationship, or I would say devotees establish relationship with the Supreme Lord, and Lord reciprocates accordingly. Now, Prabhupada also talks about one important aspect in introduction. There are 5 basic truths in Bhagavad Gita. If we say what are the contents of Bhagavad Gita, there are 5 main themes of Bhagavad Gita. These are Ishvara, which means Supreme Lord, Jiva, the living entity, Prakriti, the material nature, Kala, time, and 5th one is Karma, the activity of the conditioned soul. Now, we will go in detail of each subject matter as we will study further, but just giving a short idea, short summary about it. 4 out of these 5 are eternal. Like Krishna is eternal, there is no doubt. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Being part and parcel of Krishna and having the same qualities like Krishna, we are also eternal. Jiva, the fragmental parts of Krishna. Prakriti is an external energy of the Lord which facilitates Jiva to enjoy separately from Krishna, or at least try to enjoy separately from Krishna. That is Prakriti. Since again, Prakriti is the potency of Lord, Prakriti is also eternal. It may become manifest or unmanifest, that is different aspect, but it's in eternity, it is imperishable. Like sun sets, sun doesn't die. Just we cannot see the sun, but sun is there somewhere. In the same way, Prakriti may manifest for some time and then unmanifest. But it doesn't matter, it doesn't mean that Prakriti is not permanent. Prakriti is also eternal. And then to make Prakriti functional, Lord glances toward Prakriti. And this glance is Lord's aspect of Kala, time. Time is Krishna. With the influence of time, Prakriti moves. Prakriti becomes active. And then jivas get opportunity to perform their activities in Prakriti. But the activities which jiva performs in Prakriti is not permanent. That is called karma. How it is not permanent? Because he may perform an action and then he gets reaction. That chapter is closed. That is gone. So the karma aspect is not permanent. So as we discussed, we will go more in detail in the further units. But since Prabhupada discussed this in the introduction, we just thought to share these main points. Now, what is the aim of this unit? Let us focus on the aim so that we stick to the theme of the unit. Can you see my screen? Satyaraj Prabhu? Is Mataji there? Maybe she's using different name. Okay. So Rasamrita Prabhu, would you like to read the aim?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Bhagavatam.
Hare Krishna to all. Unit aim. This unit primarily aims to open students' understanding of the relationship between Varnashram Dharma and Krishna consciousness. This topic essential to understanding of the Bhakti Sastri introduced in the first verse of the Bhagavad Gita, Dharma Shatri, and continues to the 18th chapter, wherein Krishna concludes his discussion on the principles of religion. Dharmaya Samvadham.
So our main aim of first unit, the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is to understand the Varnashram Dharma. What is Varnashram Dharma? Varnashram Dharma means engaging a particular person as per his karma, as per his guna, as per his inclinations. In Vedic life, there was no forceful jobs. There was no forceful teaching. There was no force at all. Everybody was a volunteer. So if somebody wants to do business, he was given facility to do business. If somebody wanted to study, he was given facility to study. If somebody wanted to excel in his skills of fight, he was taught accordingly. So how to relate with Varnashram Dharma and Krishna consciousness is the aim of these 6 chapters, because they're dealing with Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means engaging our activities in Krishna's service. Karma Yoga means to perform one's prescribed duties and offering the results to the Supreme Lord. That is Karma Yoga. So when we practice this Karma Yoga, actually we are connecting our activities to Krishna. The very word yoga means, this is very important, we should remember. The very meaning of the word yoga means to connect. Those who have some idea of Hindi, they know in Hindi yoga means addition. Addition is called as yoga. So yoga means addition. Addition of what? Addition of our activities with Krishna's desire. We add both of them. We act as per Krishna's desire. We surrender our results, fruitive activities to Krishna. That is Karma Yoga. So this will be the theme of first 6 chapters, which is Karma Yoga. It starts with Arjuna's observing the armies in the battlefield, and he becomes very morose. He becomes fearful to kill his own relatives, especially his elders, and Arjuna decides not to fight. Then to motivate Arjuna, Krishna starts to speak. And Krishna, first of all, brings Arjuna to the level of Karma Yoga. Krishna tells that, Arjuna, this is your karma. You have to fight. You are a Kshatriya. Even if you are qualified for renunciation, you should not leave this battle because it's your duty to fight. And then Krishna takes him slowly to the level of transcendental knowledge. Krishna tells that, Arjuna, you have to fight for me. First reason you have to fight because you're a Kshatriya. Even if you reject that point, you have to fight for me. Because I am telling you, you have to follow your guru. In second chapter, Arjuna accepts Krishna as his guru. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava. He accepts him as a guru. So in fourth chapter, Krishna tells, you have to follow your guru. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. You will be knowing the transcendental knowledge if you surrender to the spiritual master, serve him, and inquire him about the absolute truth. If you don't do that, how you will get the knowledge? So I am your guru, follow my instructions. And then Krishna brings him to the level of Krishna consciousness, where you are doing nishkarma. You don't want to do, you don't want to fight, but still you are fighting because you want to please the Supreme Lord. And then Krishna ends with Ashtanga Yoga, how you can be the best yogi if you are connected to Krishna. This is the highest yoga. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatinantaratmana. The best yoga is if you remember Krishna always. No matter you are in household life, no matter you are doing business, no matter you are a brahmachari, no matter whoever you are, best meditation is if you remember Krishna all the time. This is the real samadhi. So this is the little chart of first 6 chapters, and we'll go in detail. Let us start with chapter 1. The name of first chapter is, Prabhupada gave a very beautiful name, Observing the Battlefield of Kurukshetra. Who is observing? Who is observing this battlefield of Kurukshetra?
Sanjay.
Sanjay?
Dhritarashtra.
Gata.
Dhritarashtra is observing.
So we have
Arjuna.
Arjuna. Okay, we have 3-4 options anyway. So we have counted all of them. So it's not Dhritarashtra, it's not Sanjay. Arjuna is observing. It's Arjuna's observation of battlefield of Kurukshetra. This is the subject matter of the first chapter. In Sanskrit, we call it Arjun Vishad Yoga. Vishad. Vishad means he's bewildered. He's afflicted by pain. He's afflicted by moroseness. He's afflicted by bewilderment. He's perplexed. And that is the subject matter of this chapter. Like a great warrior, Arjuna can also become perplexed by observation. It says, many times people say, paralysis by analysis. If your analysis is wrong, you become paralyzed. Your mind becomes paralyzed. So Arjuna did over-analysis. How did Arjuna become bewildered and fall into the ignorance? Really, what was the background? So the intention of this narration, the half of first chapter, is so that we praise the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. We understand what was the need for Krishna to speak Bhagavad Gita. So this is the intention of this narration. Otherwise, Bhagavad Gita would have just started with Krishna's instructions. But this first chapter is very important because it creates the foundation that why Krishna is speaking about this whole subject matter. So therefore, in first 27 verses, this is the description about how Arjuna is observing the battlefield. And this is little breakup of first 27 verses. So in first 13 verses, Sanjay informs Dhritarashtra that how, first Dhritarashtra asks, what's happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? And Sanjay informs how Duryodhan is going to the army general. First he goes to Drona and then he goes to Bhishma, and he's telling about his strengths, and then he's telling about the strength of the Pandavas, and he's comparing both of them. And then Bhishma tries to inspire and encourage Duryodhana. So Bhishma blows his conch shell, and then everybody else blows their conch shell. Pandavas also blow their conch shell. Krishna also blows their conch shell. And then Arjuna requests that, Krishna, can you take me in between both the armies? I want to see them. And that was the mistake. When you want to see with your own vision, you will get perplexed. You will get bewildered. So long, Arjuna was just following what Krishna told him to do. Krishna inspired him to fight. Krishna went as peace messenger, did everything for the Pandavas. When nothing worked, Krishna encouraged them to fight. And on the day of the war, Arjuna wanted to observe the battlefield with his own set of understandings. That was a mistake. Krishna followed his instruction. Krishna took him in the between both the armies. Arjuna sees all his relatives, and then he becomes perplexed. So today we will only discuss till this point. So let us start with verse number 1. Since this is the first verse, let us chant this together. You can repeat after me. Many of you must be remembering this verse. This is very easy verse. Dhritarashtra Uvacha. You can please repeat.
Rashtra Uvacha
Vacha
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre
Samaveta Yuyutsava
Samaveta
Samaveta
Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva
Mamaka
Pandava
Kim Akurvata Sanjaya.
Kim
Akurvata
Akurvata
Sanjaya
Sanjaya.
Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Uvacha means to speak. So this word will come repeatedly in Bhagavad Gita. Uvacha. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Sanjay Uvacha. Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Arjuna Uvacha. Uvacha means he spoke. So Dhritarashtra said, what he said, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetra. In the place of pilgrimage, Dharma Kshetre, which is Kurukshetra, in the place named as Kurukshetra, Samaveta. Samaveta means assembled. Yuyutsava. Yuyutsava, to fight. They were ready to fight. Who gathered? Mamaka, my sons, 100 my sons. No, there were some more people. There were Pandavas also. No, they're Pandavas. They're Pandu's sons. Mamaka, Pandavas Chaiva. My sons and Pandu's sons. Kim Akurvata Sanjay. Sanjay, tell me, what did they do? Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? Of course, they didn't play football there. This question of Dhritarashtra was because he was scared. He was scared. He was not sure of the victory of his sons. Let us see, Prabhupada is giving very nice understanding of this verse. Generally, people skip this verse. They don't want to comment. What to comment on this verse? And Prabhupada gave a long purport to this verse. Prabhupada wants us to understand why Dhritarashtra is asking like that. There's so many important lessons. Dhritarashtra asked Sanjay, what did they do? They gathered to fight. What exactly they did? See, Dhritarashtra, the word Dhritarashtra, Dhrita means to hold. Dhrita. Rashtra means Rashtra, like Maharashtra. Rashtra means kingdom. Dhritarashtra means he wants to hold on to the kingdom. You know, when this character Dhritarashtra used to take rest, he would sleep with the crown in his embrace. He would sleep like that. So that in night time also, nobody should snatch my throne. To that degree, he was attached to his kingdom. Therefore, his name is Dhritarashtra. So he thought that because I am blind, Pandu was made the king. But it was my fortune that Pandu died and I became the king. Now my sons should get the kingdom, not these 5 Pandavas. But the problem is, these Pandavas are very pious, but my children are not pious. This was Dhritarashtra's fear. His plan was to keep holding the throne. But Krishna's plan was to uproot the weeds of Kauravas and plant the beautiful plants of Pandavas. That was Krishna's plan. So Dhritarashtra understood that Lord Krishna is present personally. That means Pandavas going to win. Second thing, Kurukshetra is Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. Dharma Kshetra means place of pious activities. My children are impious. How will that place support them? Like you have experience of cricket match. When these different teams, they play cricket match. In their home pitch, they are very good. If they go to foreign pitch, they lose. Why is that? Because they are very accustomed to play on their home pitch. So my sons are impious. They are accustomed to do impious activities, sinful activities. And this place, this pitch is pious, Dharma Kshetra. So my sons will definitely lose. That fear was there. Pandavas were righteous. My sons are full number 1. What to do? And he also knew that although Bhishma and Drona, they are on the side of my sons, but they have soft corner for the Pandavas. They are saints. They don't have a tendency to fight unnecessarily. My son is fighting unnecessarily, but they don't have tendency to fight unnecessarily. So they may not fight as they used to fight before. So even though my son Duryodhana is thinking, I have support of Bhishma, I have support of Drona, but they may not fight like before, so he will lose. So because of all this fear, Dhritarashtra asked, Sanjay, what's happening there? Tell me, what they finally do? So that was his inquiry. So answering to the inquiry, what Sanjay did, Sanjay started his video call. What is video call? He got special blessings from his spiritual master Vyasadeva. Sanjay was disciple of Vyasadeva. And he got this special blessing that he could see what is happening on the distant place. So Sanjay started to see what's happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And he started to tell Dhritarashtra what exactly is happening. Key points from this verse is, first of all, what we discussed yesterday, to understand Bhagavad Gita, we have to approach a bona fide authority. Otherwise, we cannot dive into the realizations of Bhagavad Gita. Second thing is Dhritarashtra's fear and concerns. Because the place was pious, Pandavas were pious, Krishna was on their side, Bhishma and Drona were having soft corners for them. And on the other hand, his 100 sons, Kauravas, were impious. So he was doubtful for their victory. Another important thing we learn from this verse. Always remember, Mamaka Pandavas Chaiva. My sons and the sons of Pandu. This is bodily consciousness. Prabhupada told, this is skin disease. Generally, we have some itching, we say this is skin disease, or some boiled skin disease. No. Prabhupada said there is skin disease. What is skin disease? This skin is my skin. And anything related to this skin, like my children, my wife, my parents, they are my relatives. All others are not mine. This is tendency of Dhritarashtra. Me and mine. Bodily consciousness. So we have to learn this. The Dhritarashtra attitude was of a conditioned soul. Then Sanjay started to tell what exactly happened on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. I would request devotees that please keep hard book of Bhagavad Gita with you when we do class. So if you have the book open, you can see through what we are going, which section we are going, how we are covering the purports, because we may not read the whole purport, but we are covering all the points of the purports in the course of our discussion. So if you keep the Bhagavad Gita open in front of you, you will have a complete idea what's going on. And in between, I will request devotees to read certain translations. So if you have Bhagavad Gita ready in front of you, we will be quicker. So I will request devotees, anybody, Namra Sita Devi Mataji, please read translation for second verse.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanapranams. Yes, Prabhu. Should I just read the translation or the Sanskrit?
Just
Okay.
translation.
Sanjay said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhan went to his teacher and spoke the following words.
So this Duryodhan was very politically minded. Although Dhritarashtra was blind from birth, but his sons were blind from religious activities. Their whole mind was only in politics. And he perfectly knew that how to inspire his army. So although here Duryodhan is quoted like a king, addressed as a king, he was not king actually, but he's addressed like a king because he was the leader of the group. But then also he got down the chariot and he went to Drona. And he started to speak to the Drona because he wanted to make sure that his army, his military is in high spirits. He wanted to make sure that he will win. That fear was there in his heart. Just like Dhritarashtra had fear, Duryodhan was also in fear. He wanted to make sure that his army is in the same page as he. Please read text 3. Venudhari Prabhu, can you read? Text 3.
Yes, Prabhu. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupad.
See how crooked his speech is. Only in this one verse, you can see the mentality of Duryodhan. Army general of Pandavas were Drishtadumna. Drishtadumna, okay, let's go little back. Dronacharya was very good friend of Drupad. They were very good friends in childhood. Dronacharya was the son of a Brahmana. Drupada was son of the king. They were very good friends. Okay. Now, in their childhood, Drupada, who was the son of the king, promises Dronacharya, who was the son of a Brahmana, that you are very poor, my friend. When I grow elder, I will give half of my kingdom to you. Because friends should be equal. So I'll give half kingdom to you. So they both grew elder. They both passed out from the Gurukul. Drupad went back to his home. He became the king. Dronacharya went back to his home. He was a simple Brahmana. There was no food to eat. One day, the children of, actually, he was one son, Ashwathama. Dronacharya was seeing that his son was very hungry. And the wife of Dronacharya, Kripi, she told that your friend promised you to give half of the kingdom. And look, the situation of our house. We can't even feed our child. So go and ask half of the kingdom from Drupada, which he promised to you. So Dronacharya goes to Drupad and he requests that, my dear friend, do you remember? You promised me that you will give me half kingdom. So this Drupad started to laugh. Dronacharya, you don't understand? Childish talks have no value. I may have said something in my childhood. Who takes it seriously? If you want some donation, I can give you donation. Don't ask for half a kingdom. It's not possible. Dronacharya felt very insulted. And that created animosity between Dronacharya and Drupad. Now, son of Drupad comes to Dronacharya to study. What we should have done? There are some teachers here. What we should have done? The son of your enemy comes to take education from you. We'll definitely fail him in exam. Even if we teach, we'll fail him. But Dronacharya was such a noble Brahmana. He taught the son of the enemy, Drishtadumna. And Pandavas made the same Drishtadumna as their commander-in-chief. So Duryodhan is quoting his name. Duryodhan is telling, look, just look the army of Pandavas. Who arranged it? Your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. That means he's finding faults in Drona. That you taught the son of your enemy, and now today he is standing on the other side to kill you. So actually he is boiling the anger inside Drona, so that Dronacharya become very angry and start to fight against Pandavas. He's such a crooked-minded person. And he also made his point that you should not be lenient to Pandavas just like you are lenient to son of your enemy. Now at least you should not have soft corner. You had soft corner for the son of the enemy. Today is standing in front of you. Now again, if you will be having soft corner for Pandavas, they will kill you. So Dronacharya, to save yourself, you kill Pandavas. Do we sometimes do this in our life? To take benefit and from someone, do we quote his enemy? Have you experienced this? Like suppose some person understand that A devotee is not happy with B devotee. So intentionally he will go and he will tell about B devotee to this A devotee. Have you seen this? Sometimes. The famous example in Ramayana of Trishanku. Trishanku was the first football of the universe. Trishanku was a king. And this Trishanku wanted to go to heaven. Now, if you want to go to heaven, what you have to do? You have to do pious activities. If you do pious activities, you will go to heaven. But this Trishanku was so lazy to do pious activities, or he was so sinful. He wanted to go to heaven without performing pious activities. So with this intention, he went to Vashishta. You know, Vashishta is the Kulguru of Lord Ramchandra. So he went to Vashishta and he told Vashishta, please send me to heaven. Vashishta said, yes, you can go to heaven. You have to perform pious activities. He said, no, that is the problem. I don't have pious activities. You send me free of cost, without visa, to heaven. Vashishta denied. I can't violate the injunctions of the scriptures. You go somewhere else. I can't help you. Now this Trishanku knew that Vashishta is a noble saint. He will never do what I want. But Vishwamitra has animosity with Vashishta. There's whole background story about it. I'm not going into detail, but there was another sage, Vishwamitra, who was having animosity with Vashishta. Intentionally, Trishanku goes to Vishwamitra. And he tells, you know, Vishwamitra, I want to go to heaven. And Vashishta could not send me. Immediately, Vishwamitra became inspired. Oh, what Vashishta could not do, I will do. If he could not do that, I will send you to heaven. So this Vishwamitra started to do sacrifice and using all his mystic powers to send Trishanku to heaven. Now Trishanku started to fly in air. He's going up, 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 up. He's rising above the Bhumandala. And he's going near heaven. Demigods are saying, who is this rascal? He's coming without visa, without passport. We will not allow immigration of this person. So they started to push him down. And Vishwamitra is pushing him up. They are pushing him down. They are playing football with Trishanku. Therefore, many times when you send people here and there, you send to somebody else. In Indian government offices, it happens. You go to some officer, he will tell you go to somebody else. He will tell you go to somebody else. So they tell that, do you think I am Trishanku? This famous saying in India. So Trishanku is same mentality like Duryodhan. What Duryodhan is doing, he is telling Drona about Drupad. He is recalling the animosity of Drupad and he is trying to instigate that thing in Dronacharya. But Dronacharya was a noble soul. Srila Prabhupada writes here how Dronacharya was not affected by Duryodhana. Dronacharya was having this Brahmanical qualities. Let's see. Moksha Rupi Prabhu, can you read the translation? It's Prabhupada's quote from a lecture, actually.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dronacharya knew that Drupad Maharaj has got his son. In future, he would kill me. Still, when he was offered to become his disciple, to learn military art, he accepted. Yes, that means the Brahmanas were so liberal. When he is coming as my disciple, never mind. He would kill me in future. That doesn't matter. But I must give him teaching. Bhagavad Gita 1.223, London.
So that is Brahmanical quality, where Brahmana, first quality is Sama. He doesn't make enemies. He is equidisposed to everybody. That is Brahmanical quality. So Dronacharya falls into that quality. Yes, Rameshwar Gaurang Prabhu, there's some comment.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, one question here. Like
Yeah.
we are talking about that the first quality is that the Brahmana is liberal, and that you mentioned that he is non-envious, right? But we also heard about that Karan, when he went and he wanted to, I think he wanted to surrender to Dronacharya to be taken as a spiritual master, to learn the art of, I think not a spiritual master, but as a master, to learn the art of war, but he was declined to be accepted as the disciple. So how do we understand this, Prabhu?
This is a super famous question. And people have very soft corner for Karna. So let us understand this, how Vedic system of education worked. Just like in today's world, if you want to take admission in any university, we have an entrance exam. Like if I want to study in IIT, I can't just go there and pay my fees and just enroll and study. No, I have to appear for an entrance exam. If I pass that entrance exam, then I will be given admission in particular university. Now in Vedic system, what was this entrance exam? Entrance exam was, gurus were so qualified that they would just look at a person. By seeing him, they would scan his personality. If they cannot do that, by hearing his initial words, they would scan his attitude and character. Like a simple example, one time Gautam Rishi was in his Gurukul. Gautam Rishi is very popular. People have Gotra on Gautam Rishi. One boy comes to him and tells Gautam Rishi, I want to become your student. So Gautam Rishi told that, my dear boy, I will give you education. Can you tell me, where do you live? Who are your parents? He said, I know my mother, but I never saw my father. So Gautam Rishi told, okay, go to your mother and just ask her, who is your father? So this boy goes back to the mother and asks, mother, who is my father? Mother becomes very shameful. He becomes very morose and miserable to tell this answer. But with a lot of pain in her heart, she tells that, my dear son, I don't know who is your father. I was a dasi. I was a maid servant. I don't know who is your father. Now this boy goes back to Gautam Rishi and tells the truth. He tells that, Gautam Rishi, my mother says she was a maid servant. She also doesn't know who is my father. So Gautam Rishi was so impressed that this boy is truthful. You are qualified to become Brahmana. Gautam Rishi accepted him as his student and made him Brahmana. Why I'm telling this story? Because when Karna came in front of Dronacharya, he could see by his attitude, appearance, and words that Karna was not truthful, which was later proved when he cheated Parshuram. He went to Parshuram becoming a Brahmana, and Parshuram detected later on that he was a Kshatriya. So Parshuram told that if you can cheat your guru, you can cheat anybody. Therefore, I curse you that the knowledge which you got from me, you will forget everything when you will need it the most. So imagine if Dronacharya would have accepted him as disciple, he would have cheated Dronacharya. So gurus were the entrance exam. Another thing, Karna was not even Kshatriya. You know why? Because one of the main qualities of Kshatriya are, Kshatriya can't take anything without themselves winning it. Like they win and they enjoy. If you give Kshatriya like, okay, this is a chocolate, eat. Kshatriya will not eat that chocolate. He will win it. Even marriage, Kshatriya, how they marry? They go, they fight. If there is no killing in marriage, there's not much Kshatriya marriage. Like Krishna married Rukmini, he had to kill so many people. Arjuna married Draupadi, they would kill so many people. That is Kshatriya marriage. They go. Bhishma went and brought Amba and Ambalika. They're killing so many people. So that is Kshatriya spirit. Now coming back to Karna, when Duryodhan gives him the kingdom of Anga, that okay, my friend, from today you are ruler of Anga. This Karna becomes very happy. Oh yeah, my friend, you are giving, and he becomes the ruler. That is not the tendency of Kshatriya. That is tendency of Shudra. When you throw away something, Shudra catches it. So there are so many instances where the character of Karna is not matching with the higher classes of Varnashram. And Dronacharya could detect it. Therefore, his rejecting Karna was not based on his animosity or aversion, but he could scan the propensities of the child. So that advanced was the Gurukul system. Is it okay?
Prabhu, can I ask?
Yeah,
Related
just one minute, Mataji. Just Rameshwar Prabhu.
Yes, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, Namrasita Mataji.
Prabhu, related to this only, then how come Parshuram, who was even a more elevated?
Yes, so it
No.
happens. Mistake happens even from great souls. And then he became very angry that this particular boy Karna cheated Parshuram, and he fought with Karna also. So mistakes can happen with any. Yudhishthir made mistakes. So many great souls make mistakes. So that can happen. But we should understand that why, like even Eklavya, people have so much sympathy for Eklavya. But when Dronacharya saw this Eklavya shot arrows in the mouth of a dog, Dronacharya could understand that if this particular person can torture a dog, a poor dog like this, what he will do in future. So they can understand the tendencies. They have no animosity with anybody. But this kind of dealings they have to do so that they save the society. That was the job of the Brahmana. Okay. So going further, our dear Duryodhan is telling about different armies. And Duryodhan tells about the description of Pandava's army. This is again the tendency of a sinful person. First, you want to look at others, not themselves. When they find faults in others, they will look at opulence of others. They're never satisfied. So this Duryodhan is telling about the army of the Pandavas. He's telling that just behold this great army. There's so many people. Bhima is there, Arjun is there, Satyaki is there, Draupadi is there, Drishtaketu, Chekitan, Kashiraj, Purujit, Kunti, Bhoj. So many names he quotes. He says all these people are Maharathis. Especially he quoted Arjun and Bhima. Because Arjuna got celestial weapons from heaven. He was very, very powerful. And Bhima has strength of 10,000 elephants. Moreover, Bhima took vow that he will kill all 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. So he had that kind of caliber. He alone killed all 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. So there is little description about who is Maharathi, who is Atirathi and Rathi. These terms comes very often. Rathi means one who fights with one person, like one-on-one fight. This is Rathi. Atirathi means who can fight more than 1,000 warriors at one time, but less than 10,000. And when somebody can fight alone with 10,000 warriors, that person is called Maharathi. So Duryodhana is telling all these names which Duryodhana quoted, they are all Maharathis. Now Duryodhana started to think, I glorified Pandava's army so much, Dronacharya may think that I am fearful of them. So let me describe my army also. So in next 3 verses, he started to describe about his own army. Now don't think that my army is something less. The captains in my army are great personalities. He wanted to take name of Bhishma first, because Bhishma was the greatest one. But then he thought that I am talking to Drona, I should please him. This is all political things, you know. When you are in front of somebody, you say, Prabhu, you are the best devotee I have seen in my world. You're so humble. What to see? I have never seen a humble devotee like you. You may say same thing to all devotees. But Duryodhana was using these tactics to just please Dronacharya. He's saying that you are with us. First he quoted his name. You are with us. Bhishma is with us. Karna, Kripacharya, Ashwatthama, Vikarna, Dushashan. So many. And you know what? All of them are so attached to me, they are ready to give up their lives for me. They are so attached. They can give up my life for me. We learn 2 things from Duryodhana's this statement. Duryodhana told they can give up their life for me. Two lessons. Any guess? What lessons we can take from this?
They are going to die.
Yeah, one thing Prabhupada writes in purport, he himself is predicting that they are going to die. He's talking about death. He's telling they can give life for me. Any other lesson we can take from this statement?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
We can also see that Duryodhana is so mean that he is ready to sacrifice the life of
Exactly.
others for the sake of his own gratification.
He is exploiting them. He says they can die for me. But a good leader is who? He can say, I can die for them. Krishna told that for Pandavas. I love Pandavas so much that I can sacrifice myself. Lord Vishnu told for 4 Kumaras in Vaikuntha. He told, if my own hand raise on my devotees to punish them, I will cut my own hand without any second thought. Lord Vishnu tells this to 4 Kumaras. So this is a attitude of a good leader. But Duryodhana, what he's telling? They can die for me. He is so selfish. So like that, Duryodhana is telling about his army. Why we are reading all these names? You know, these sinful people. Why we are talking about Duryodhana? Let's talk about Krishna. Let's discuss some pastime from Vrindavan. No, Prabhupada is telling why we are reading all this. Chetan Prabhu, would you like to read?
Yes. Hare Krishna Prabhu. So people may ask that by mentioning these great fighters, what spiritual progress we make? Because we are meant for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So by chanting the names of these great fighters, what do we gain? The question may be raised there. But the thing is that Nirbandha, Krishna Sambandha, whenever there is connection with Krishna, that also becomes Krishna. So these warriors' name mentioning, we should not neglect. Krishna wanted to gather all the demoniac power in that battlefield of Kurukshetra and kill them. That was his plan.
Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. It is in relationship with Krishna. It is in connection with Krishna. Anything in connection with Krishna is fully Krishna conscious. So even studying the names of these sinful people, these warriors on the side of Duryodhan is Krishna consciousness, because Krishna is present there. Krishna wants to get rid of them, and to describe their power is important, because we learn no matter how powerful we are, if we are on the side of adharma, we will be vanished. Therefore, this is described. Now Duryodhana compares his army with the army of Pandavas. He says that Pandavas' army is insufficient. And Bhima is protecting them, which is fine. But look at our army. Our army is immeasurable. And this army has been protected by Bhishma. Bhishma is the greatest warrior. Our acharyas write very nice thing. The word Duryodhana used is aparyaptam. Aparyaptam, one meaning is immeasurable. So Duryodhana is telling our army is immeasurable, big, vast. But one more meaning of aparyapta. Paryapta means sufficient. Aparyapta means insufficient. So another meaning is Duryodhana himself is telling, although my army is so big, but it is insufficient to win over the Pandavas. So actually, he is glorifying Pandavas in heaven. And he has this special animosity towards Bhima. So he's quoting his name also. So like that, many times people may manipulate things. Like Duryodhana is trying to manipulate Drona. He's trying to manipulate Bhishma by telling about their past animosities, by telling about how powerful he is, by telling that how Pandavas are having insufficient armies. So for his own sense gratification, he is misusing the facts. The fact is, he was not righteous. He was simple. Pandavas on the side of Dharma. But then also he is trying to present the facts in such a way that his sense gratification is fulfilled. This we can see many times. We may quote many things just to satisfy our own thing. Prabhupada said, like one time, Srila Prabhupada wanted to drink something. And he said, I'm feeling very thirsty. Can you give me some drink? And devotees brought him 7-Up. So Prabhupada took, okay, 7-Up. He took 7-Up. Later on, devotees told 7-Up is Mahaprasad because Prabhupada drank it. So they started to bring crates and crates of 7-Up in temples. Prabhupada was surprised, what is this? The Prabhupada devotee said, it is Mahaprasad. Prabhupada said, they may say Prabhupada said this, they may say Prabhupada said that, but you don't believe until either you hear directly from me or you read in my books. You don't believe that. But even while reading his books or hearing from Srila Prabhupada, we may quote some quotations. Like you take any topic and you will get quotation of Prabhupada. So it can be misused. Let us do a little exercise. Here is a quotation of Srila Prabhupada from a lecture on the same chapter, first chapter, 6th and 7th verse. Prabhupada is telling, when Krishna appears in this world, Krishna has two missions. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. That he gives protection to his devotees and he kills the demons. Prabhupada said, so the devotees of Krishna should be trained up both ways. Not only to give protection to devotees, to give them encouragement, but if need be, they should be prepared to kill the demons. That is Vaishnavism. You can take screenshot of this quotation. We are going to do a small exercise on this quotation. You get the quote? Prabhupada is telling the devotees can protect the other devotees and they can kill the miscreants also. This is Vaishnavism. Let us do a little exercise. Consider the ways when this quote can be misused. In your team, you have to write 2-3 different permutation combinations when that particular quote can be misused. Discuss the consequence of such misuses. What can happen by such misuse? You can give many examples in the team, but select the best examples from your team. And then one representative from the group can give a presentation of 3 minutes. Is the question clear? You can also take screenshot of what is expected. So we have to discuss the quotation, find out 2-3 ways how that particular quote can be misused. And not just the theory, but you have to populate it with examples. You can use contemporary examples. You can use examples from the scriptures. You can take Prabhupada Leela. You can take examples from the life of the Acharyas. You can take examples from your own life. Anything will work, no problem. But 2-3 ways how that quote can be misused and what can be the consequence. Each team can describe. Yes, Varat Krishna Prabhu, you want to see the quotation again?
Yeah, the quotation again for, yeah, please.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Once again.
So I will divide the whole class into 2 teams. And first team will present first, but second team should not say the same points which first team has already quoted. Okay, so second team have to come with more examples so that they don't repeat the same examples. Okay, so I'm randomly creating the room. I have no biased system here. The computer divides itself. Okay, so, and we will have 10 minutes to do this exercise. So please take 10 minutes only. Be very quick to have the discussion, and select a representative who will be presenting, and try those who have spoken yesterday, give chance to other devotees. Those who have not spoken yesterday, you can make them the representative. So you can join your groups. The time starts now. Hare Krishna. So devotees, I hope today was better than yesterday. It was more organized. We'll become more habituated. So let's hear from team 1. I went in both rooms and I was seeing the wonderful discussion going on. So let's hear from team 1. And team 2, please hear nicely so that you don't repeat the same points. Yes, Chetan Prabhu. We can't hear you.
You need to unmute.
Yeah, now you can hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, so a few points from team 1 that we have discussed. And if ever I miss anything, I request members of the group to intervene and to rectify. So firstly, we discussed that if we misuse this quote of Srila Prabhupada, so devotees can have the misconception that if a devotee in the group, in the community is misbehaving or is not following the rules and regulations, so we have to literally discard that person, which is not good. We have to find other ways. And if devotees are not mature enough to understand what Prabhupada meant to say, so we can, they might resort to violence, literally violence, and like physical violence. And example of how devotees should behave. So we discussed that devotees went to Pakistan and they were attacked, but they did not retaliate. They did not resort to violence. And very recently, there were issues related to devotees in Bangladesh. Again, devotees did not resort to violence. And another example is during the construction of the Juhu temple, devotees and Prabhupada encountered many difficulties from the landowner and everything. And again, they proved very, very good Vaishnavas by not resorting to violence and keeping their humility. And then concerning the consequences of misusing this quote of Prabhupada, we said that it can affect the reputation of the organization, and Prabhupada may be accused of promoting violence. And yeah, so we got one example from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went in that debate with the Pandita, and with his humility, meaning he was not in a fighting mood, he was in a humble mood, in a serving mood, and he was able to win over those people who prostrated in front of him. And so that's it we discussed, and if ever I missed anything, members of the group can add up to this. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Very important points. Actually, there was a case few years back in Russia on ISKCON, and there was a court case that Bhagavad Gita promotes violence. So the devotees had to fight in the court and they had to prove, and then these charges were dismissed. So yes, these quotes can be misunderstood and they can be misquoted, misused, but devotees should understand the spirit of the law and not the letter of the law, because the spirit of the law is to establish dharma. When they were Kshatriyas, they used to fight, but there is no Kshatriyas now. If you want to win over someone, we have to educate them. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did that. He won the whole world through Sankirtan movement. So that way he fought, but he fought with their demonic tendencies. He killed their demonic tendencies. So like that, it's very important to understand the spirit of Bhagavad Gita, not just by letter of Bhagavad Gita, because there are many books in this world which promote violence, because people, they read the letter of the law and they just go and harm others on the name of religion. So we should not fall into that category. I have seen devotees, one time we were in Vrindavan and one devotee was very sick. He was having fever, 102-degree fever. And his roommate, he went for Govardhan Parikrama. He said that I can't waste my day in Vrindavan. I went after so many days and I need to go on Govardhan Parikrama. And after all, Prabhu, you are not body, you are soul. This fever is of body, it's not of fever of soul. So you just chant Hare Krishna and be happy. So this is violence. This is philosophy is correct, but the time is wrong. So like that, we have to understand the spirit of philosophy, and it's very important that we don't misquote it. Oh, sorry, I spoke. Team 2 is remaining, huh? So you should not speak what I spoke also. And you should not speak
No,
what
Prabhu,
Team
that's
1
not
also
possible.
spoke.
Because you spoke everything.
No. There must be many points, of course, you should share. So who is the speaker from Team 2? I should have summarized afterwards, but anyway. So,
Hare Krishna.
yes,
I'm
Moksha Rupi
speaking on behalf of my team 2. Prabhu, the few points which we had collected is that first point is that only part of this quote is mentioned that leads to confusion and can be misused by you for using it for selfish reasons. For example, half chicken philosophy by Prabhupada. The theory is not clear and it can be misused. Second, Prabhu, that when we read this, then it is not related to killing people. but it is related to killing the demonic qualities among the people. And in the same way, on the other hand, there are many instances where Prabhupada has given us the right that if somebody is if somebody is blaspheming our God, somebody is blaspheming devotees, or somebody is blaspheming our guru, then we can use a bit of violence. But still, again, this theory can be misused for our selfish ends, for meeting our selfish ends, or we may not understood it fully, that as we are all the practicing devotees. Someone may not understood fully and can use violence in each and everything. You are not speaking correctly, I can use violence. Prabhupada has given me the authority. You are doing this, you are not doing this properly, you are not doing this seva properly, I can use the violence. Prabhupada has said so, which can lead to misunderstandings and confusions. And the third point, Prabhu, like the first objective of ISKCON is to give spiritual knowledge to the society and educate all the word about the spiritual knowledge. To give all the word about the spiritual knowledge and check the imbalance of the whole world, and not to spread the violence in either form. But when we read this quote, or when a non-devotee reads this quote, it is clearly from the quote, we will say, from the non-devotee's point of view, it is clear from this quote that we can use the violence. ISKCON is promoting the uses of violence, again leading to miscommunications. There were a few of the points. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. You brought up very important aspects. One important aspect is the context. In which context Prabhupada told. Like Prabhupada is quoting on this verse. He's lecturing on this verse where Arjun and Duryodhana is going to fight. So here in this context, Prabhupada told that. But it may not be relevant in every context. So we have to understand the context also. Like I remember one time in temple, one devotee was going with a full plate of Mahaprasad in night. So he was going, and he has a huge, like a hill of Mahaprasad in his plate actually. And he ate all of it. And after eating all of it, he was not able to move also. He was so full, he was not able to move right or left. And then also he was screaming, "Can somebody give me one glass of milk?" Devotees asked, "Prabhu, you ate so much you cannot move, also you're asking for one glass of milk?" He said, "Prabhupada said brahmachari should drink one glass of milk in night." But you have, Prabhupada didn't say that after eating whole Mahaprasad, then you drink one glass of milk also and then sleep. So this is like killing the philosophy. So we may use the right words, we may use the right quotation, but forget the context. Therefore, this philosophy should never be misused like that, and we should understand the context. So here Duryodhana is trying to manipulate his own seniors for his sense gratification, and therefore his tendencies are sinful, his intentions are not noble. So he have glorified Bhishma, he had glorified Drona, and after praising the prowess of Bhishma, he thought that others should not feel less important. Others should not feel that they are not important. So he quoted so many other names also, Karna, Vikarna, and others. And he was very confident that his army is almost double the size of Pandavas. Because Pandavas having 7 Akshoni. Here we have given the calculation of Akshoni. One Akshoni Sena, one Akshoni army means 21,870 chariots, 21,870 elephants, 65,610 horses, and 109,350 foot soldiers. So this is one Akshoni. Now multiply it by 7, that many number of soldiers were on the side of Pandavas. And divided by 11, that many soldiers on the side of Duryodhana. So he was very, very confident. But he was trying to encourage each of them. So he said, you know, grandfather Bhishma is now old also. So you all should respect him. You all should help him. And that way you should help Bhishma to win this battle. So Bhishma thought, they will help me. They are like tiny ants in front of me. I am the greatest warrior. And this Duryodhana is telling that they should help me. Maybe Duryodhana is very nervous about the battle. So to cheer up Duryodhana, Bhishma blew his conch shell. Now Bhishma's conch shell was so powerful that even themselves of heaven, they started to blow their conch shells, drums, bugles, trumpets, horns. They were all suddenly started to sound. So, the whole sky was filled with tumultuous sound of all these different musical instruments, and there was great sound. All others also started to blow their conch shell, and then Lord Krishna and Arjun also started to blow their conch shell, and their conch shells are called as Divya Shankha, transcendental, because Arjun is a devotee, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever they touch becomes transcendental. Same activity. Devotee also writes, non-devotee also writes. Devotee also speaks, non-devotee also speaks. Devotee also eats, non-devotee also eats. Non-devotee, whatever he does, fruitive activities, he'll suffer his karma. Devotee, whatever he does, becomes devotional service. Activity is same. One is material, one is transcendental. Because Arjun is doing for Krishna, his conch shell is also transcendental. And then there are names given of different conch shell. You can take note of these names. Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Pondram Dadamo Mahashankham Bhimo Karma Brakodara. These are different names of the conch shells of famous personalities. Krishna, his conch shell is named as Panchajanya. Arjuna, his conch shell is known as Devadatta. Bhima's conch shell is Pondra. Yudhishthira's conch shell is Ananta Vijay. Nakul's conch shell is Sughosh. And Sahadev's conch shell is Mani Pushpaka. So after hearing all this, different other warriors also started to blow their conch shell, like Kashiraj, Shikandi, Drishtadumna, Virat, Satyaki, sons of Drupad, everybody. They started to blow their respective conch shells. And these blowing of conch shell made such a uproaring sound that the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra were shattered. Now this is very important. It is mentioned that only the hearts of Dhritarashtra's son were shattered. The sound is same. Pandava's hearts were not shattered. They were very pakka. But sons of Dhritarashtra, their hearts shattered. Why their hearts shattered? Because they were not having Lord Krishna on their side. Wherever there is Krishna, there is victory. Wherever there is Krishna, there is no fear. But Kauravas were not having Krishna, so they were in full fear. Can you tell some examples where devotees are fearless? In the middle of all tribulations, miseries, pains, they are fearless. Any example? Can unmute. Any example? Devotees are fearless. They don't have any fear. Any example? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prahlad Maharaj example.
Prahlad. Yes. Prahlad was fearless. His father was doing all kind of things. He was fearless. Any other example?
Prabhupada, example, Prabhupada, even though he had so many
Srila
heart
Prabhupada was fearless.
attacks,
Even he had heart attacks, he was not having any money, going to unknown country, no contact, and just going there for preaching. Even when he was a Grihastha, Japan was bombing Calcutta. And that time also Prabhupada went on Harinam Sankirtan. He said nothing will happen. He was so fearless. Devotees don't worry about all these things. Fearless. Yes, Vyasdev Prabhu.
We see some of the examples from the life of His Bhakti Sastri Guru Maharaj. When he, even in the midst of COVID, he traveled to America and was considering it to support his team who was distributing prashadam to the people who were
Yes,
there.
that is what Prabhupada's spirit also. Prabhupada wanted to go out and preach in the West. He said, warriors don't die on bed. Prabhupada said, warriors die on the battlefield. So Prabhupada wanted to go in West. He went also in
When he
London.
was
And then devotee suggested to bring him back. So he came back. But his desire, even one day before, he was saying, I will go on bullock cart for Govardhan Parikrama. That was Prabhupada's desire. He never wanted to die on bed. That is, cowards die 1,000 times, but a warrior die only once. That is devotee's attitude. Yes, Varat Krishna Prabhu.
We saw that even Prabhupada, he had 2 heart attack on the ship. He didn't go to the hospital when he entered America. You know,
Yes.
he went on his preaching.
Right. He didn't go to hospital. He didn't take rest. He was not on diet prasad. He was perfect. He was warrior. He was fighting without caring for anything else. Yeah. Rasamrit Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhu, Parishit Maharaj, when he
Yeah.
was known, he killed. Still, he was not fear.
We have seen so many examples when people, when they get their reports, like you have a cancer or you have something, some disease, they become so fearful. Before dying only they die. But Parishit Maharaj, he came to know after 7 days, you will die in no fear. Sitting on the bank of Saraswati, he was hearing Bhagavatam from Sukhdev Goswami. Another example. Thank you, Prabhu. Usha Mataji.
Prabhu, even Hanuman was fearless when he went to Lanka.
Yeah.
He put fire over there. And
Can you imagine? Ravan made Yamraj as, his servant. That means what to speak about Ravan himself. Nobody can die in Lanka before Ravan sanctions. That was Ravan's power. And Hanumanji enters that Lanka and burns that Lanka. How much courage it needs. That is the power of a devotee. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, Keshav Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna. I was also going to talk about Ramayan. When Sita was kidnapped, she just held a kush, the grass, and she was safe. She was fearless.
Yeah, she put a blade of grass. I mean, if you do that in a war, you can't. I mean, these other soldiers will laugh at you. Sita kept just a blade of grass, and Ravana was fearful that of the chastity of Sita. He could not do anything to her. I was having one more example. Even a new bhakta in ISKCON, they are fearless. You know how? New bhakta joined 1 month back. They give class and they openly said, any questions? Even scientists cannot do that. Have you seen any scientists? They say, any questions? That means you know everything. Even new bhakta in ISKCON, 1 month, 2 months, he will give class and he will tell on microphone, any questions? As if you know everything. By Krishna's mercy, they answer also. That means they are fearless. So like that, devotees are never fearful. All sons of Dhritarashtra, they were fearing this, this tumultuous sound of all these conch shells because the war is going to begin. But Pandavas were not at all fearful. So tomorrow we will continue further and we will see how Arjuna requests Krishna to take him in the middle of the battlefield, the area, and he will observe his relatives. And Arjuna will give a nice lecture tomorrow, not tomorrow, next Monday. Arjuna give a nice lecture to Krishna, why he should not fight. So we will see reasons for Arjuna's not fighting. And then Lord will start chastising Arjuna that you are speaking like a learned man, but you are not courageous. And then Krishna will start his instructions of Bhagavad Gita. Thank you so much. So we end here. I'm also following the footsteps. I'm also following the footsteps of fearless devotees and asking any questions. So we can discuss that. Any questions or comments? Okay. So we will just, I have shared the document of verses on the group. We will start doing that from tomorrow. I mean, from Monday. But I will request you a simple thing. If you can print out those verses and keep with you, before chanting your rounds, just read them. I'm not saying you memorize them. Just before chanting your rounds, just read them once. So if you read those verses, I've sent the PDF on the group. I can resend also today. Just read them every day before chanting. It will hardly take 2 to 3 minutes. It will not take more than 2 to 3 minutes. Just like we remembered Mahaprasade Govinde prayers, how we remembered? How many of you sat in a class with so many notes to remember Mahaprasade Govinde prayers? No. Because we eat, we chant every day we eat, we remember Mahaprasade Govinde by heart. In the same way, if you chant every day these verses from the document, you will remember all these verses. And from next class, we'll do it together also. Yes, Arun Charan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So there is one thing that I would like to just bring in the class that I heard in one lecture. Just wanted to share it. That we see in the first chapter itself that Dhritarashtra in his first, the first verse, Dhritarashtra is saying, asking Sanjay to tell him that what happened when in the battlefield when both the armies were facing each other. So it was like a very common sense thing that if they are in the battlefield, then it is obviously supposed to fight. So
right.
The question arises here is that why is Dhritarashtra asking this question in itself? That why, or what did they do? So I've heard this somewhere in one lecture that the Bhagavad Gita that we are reading, that is spoken by Sanjay to Dhritarashtra, is actually a flashback. That when both the armies were assembled and Krishna was speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjun, at that time Dhritarashtra was not so much interested in listening their conversation. He was rather interested in hearing what happened in the fight. But when Bhishma Dev was fallen on the 11th day and the grandsire was out of the entire war, at that time Dhritarashtra was stuck and he lost his confidence because he knew that until and unless grandsire is there is complete protection over
Your voice is breaking, Prabhu.
uh,
Yeah. But I think we got the point. Prabhu is telling that this whole discussion is in the like after Bhishma fell, then Dhritarashtra is interested. What happened when they both gathered? That is also right. In Mahabharata it is described. But Prabhupada gave another angle to it. Prabhupada said that he was fearful of the victory of his own sons. So therefore we stick to Prabhupada's presentation. Okay. Hare Krishna. Yes, Bharat Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. You said to read those verses, which we have to remember. How many verses we are talking about?
This 12 verses, Prabhu. 12.
Okay.
Like if you chant 12 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it will take hardly 2 minutes. So 12 verses, it will hardly take 2 minutes. In next class, we'll do a sample. We'll chant the verses together. It will hardly take 2 minutes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Bhagavad Gita.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.